Hey YouTube, this is Steven and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to address a certain group of people who have been leaving, messages here and there on a couple of videos that I've posted. Um, and this message goes out to the, biracials, the mixed racials, the multiracials, and the Creoles. And, I'll just throw in some, Latinos as well who are quote unquote black adjacent. All right. This is to all these folks. All right. Who leave messages on my page talking about basically why you trying to claim mixed race folks and et cetera, right? Basically them saying that they are a group of their own and they don't want to be claimed or associated with black folks or with blackness. All right. So this is my message to them. Me personally, you can identify as you wish, no shade with that. You can identify as you wish, identify as you were raised to identify with, right? That's no issue with me. If you are mixed race, and you're part black and choose to not identify as black, then that's fine. Black people I'll speak for me. I'm not trying to force blackness on anybody. As I've mentioned in the videos that they post on, that some of these people post on, I'm not trying to force blackness on anybody. As I mentioned, basically blackness is just too beautiful and amazing to be forcing it on anybody. That's my personal opinion. If you don't like it, okay. That's fine with me. More for me, right? All right. But oftentimes, like some of these, first generational mixed people, and even a couple of multi-generational mixed people, feel the need to, search for topics like these and comment on topics like these. I'm not sure why they're searching for these type of topics. Maybe I know someone gonna be like, well, it was in the recommendation list. Like, okay, but still, like, well, why did you click on it? If you like, I don't know, it's just weird to me because I see this coming up a lot, and not just in like my videos. I've seen it in other people's videos as well. When again, these first generational folks oftentimes, especially, want to like drive home the point that they're not black and don't consider themselves black, and that you shouldn't consider themselves black, etc. Right? We even had like that whole documentary that was released, like something to the extent of like, I'm not black, I'm biracial, damn it. Remember that? And again, that's fine. That's fine for you to identify as biracial. In fact, there's even some black people who feel that, first generational mixed people should identify as mixed and not black. And I can understand where they're coming from, because they feel like, well, these people, the mixed race folks, have sort of an advantage, and they're taking opportunities away from the, black people, the black people, people who are black from a distance, the monoracial black people, right? So I can understand where they're coming from with that. Me personally, I feel like if you're part black, at least in the first generation, I feel like you do have a claim to blackness. Again, this is just my personal opinion. So if a first generational mixed person claim blackness, I wouldn't be shocked by that. I wouldn't be offended by that. I would accept that, right? And I think part of the reason why I feel the way that I feel is because oftentimes I'm sort of viewed as first generational mixed, even though I'm not, but a lot of times people view me as that. So I think that may affect the way that I feel about it. But overall, as far as me personally, I don't have an issue with you identifying as you wish to identify. I'm not trying to force blackness on anybody. However, I do want to bring up something. Oftentimes when we get into these discussions, these mixed race people want to really, you know, come at black people for quote unquote trying to claim them, right? But really, who created this system and who controls this system? It's not black people. It's white people. I don't think I hardly ever see mixed race people challenging white people or, you know, calling out white people and how they treat them. White people don't seem to really put a claim on mixed race people as a group, you know, as a collective. As individuals, perhaps, you know, when Barack Obama was, you know, came on the scene and running for president the first time around, you know, some white people were claiming him, you know, or at least partially. But again, that's kind of like on an individual basis, though. It's not like a collective. And I hardly ever see these mixed race people challenging white people to claim them or to at least have some claim or some like feeling of family or etc. Right? I hardly ever see that. And if that does exist, feel free to leave like a link in the description that shows me, you know, because I really need to see that. That's something that I really need to see. Because, you know, historically speaking, at least in the United States, I can't speak about other countries, right? But in the United States, historically, white people have controlled who's black and who's not black. They were in the position to dictate that. At one point, mixed race people were considered mixed race, you know, aka mulatto, right? Aka quadroon, aka octoroon, right? You had those categories. But somewhere along the way, those categories were erased with the implementation of the one-drop rule, making it into a law and putting it on the books. Those racial categories went away, and we just had basically colored. I think at that point, it turned into this like you're colored. I think Negro was used too, but like Negro and colored, right? I think color may have changed to Negro at one point. I think. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, white people control that. White people, to an extent, still control that. I don't see white people saying or putting a claim on mixed race people as a whole. You know, saying that, oh, they're black. No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not seeing them say, oh, they're not black. They're mixed. Or even like, oh, you know, they're white. They're part white, so, you know, they white. They definitely not going to say that, because they are not going to allow mixed race people to come into their communities and come into their situation and take opportunities from them. They're not going to let mixed race people threaten their white privilege. All right. Black people, on the other hand, do kind of have to deal with that from mixed race people. You know, whether multi-generational or first generational, black people still have to deal with that. And I think when it comes to first generational people who are mixed, you know, first generational mixed people, black people are a bit more skeptical about them, because they don't, I guess, I'm not sure, but basically they're black people seem to be maybe slightly less accepting of first generational versus multi-generational. And I think that has to do with the white parent, right? The white parent having the influence over the child. Granted, not all mixed race people have an influence of a white parent, but still. I think when it's like multi-generational, the white parent is so far back, you know, it's just not really an issue, because the influence was like a black identified person influence. So it's a little bit different. And sorry, I know I'm kind of like all over the place with this video. I don't mean to be, but it's just so many topics that kind of roll into the next topic, and etc., right? But I guess to bring it back to topic again, like where I really don't see white people as a collective really trying to claim mixed race people, you know, and they only do it when it's really convenient to them. When they want to get out of, claims of being racist, then they'll be trying to claim mixed race people, you know, like, oh, they part white, or, they're not black, they're mixed, when they trying to, someone accused them of being racist or something. And, basically when it's when they can find it a convenience to them, they will try to claim them, a little bit, throw a little bone. But white folks ain't claiming mixed race people, because white people know, basically they know the issues that go on in our community because of mixed race people, and because of even multi-generational and first generation, both of them, really, to keep it real, to be honest, both of them. They know the issues. They created those issues, and they play a part in perpetuating those issues. The colorism issue thing, right? White people don't want to deal with colorism, right? White people don't want to deal with that. White people don't want mixed race people coming in and messing up the system that they built, and you know, just threatening their privileges, right? And then also, I will give white people this. However, I've heard about, like, I think like in the 80s or something, there was like white moms basically trying to get, mixed race or, biracial on the books as like a category. And I guess they ultimately did it because it comes up on the census, right? But yeah, I guess these white moms were like, basically they feel like their kids are biracial or mixed and not black. And really, I kind of feel like white people, they come into the situation with a combination of ignorance and entitlement when it comes to having children with particularly black people, other races as well, but let's stick with black people, right? This is what we at. Because a lot of times these white people, they seem like they don't really know what's popping and what's going on within the system of racism and bigotry in the United States. They seemingly are ignorant, right? Seemingly. They seem ignorant to it, right? Or either they feel like it won't affect them, right? So then these people get into these relationships with black people and have these kids who are half white and half black, and then expect for this same racist society that they have benefited from to accept their children. But if they accept your children, then that will undermine white supremacy. So that's not going to happen. They're not going to let white kids undermine, well, they're not going to let half black, half white kids undermine white supremacy. Even when the kid looks white and they know that the kid is part black, they still want to bring it up. They still want to act funny towards the kid. Even when the kid looks white and can pass for white. And to the point where if they didn't tell you they were part black, you wouldn't know that. They still act funny with them. Ask some white passing black people about that. I have some white passing black people in my family. Keep it real. While they have never really spoken about that particular topic, I have heard other black people, and also I've seen other black people and how, other white passing black people. Look at what Mariah Carey went through, right? White folks don't be claiming Mariah Carey. Let's keep it real. White folks don't be claiming Vin Diesel and, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? And these other white passing folks. And they're white passing, so it's like, well, it could easily fit into this, but no, they ain't doing that. If they know that you part black, they ain't claiming you like that, unless it's convenient, And I don't say this to be nasty or mean or throw shade. I'm just trying to educate. I'm just trying to inform. You know, if you're a mixed race person, you know, whether multi-generational, first generational, what have you, and you like this video, and you have watched my videos and have gotten something out of my videos, and that's great. I think that's a great thing, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the comments and the support. But I don't appreciate people coming to my page and my videos, particularly the mixed race folks, coming to the videos and acting as if I'm trying to force them to claim a black identity and to claim blackness, and that we as black folks are just so desperate to claim you because we're just so terrible without you, you know because that's not the case. That's really not the case. I think as a whole, white society will remind you that you are not white, that they're quicker to classify you as black than as mixed, right? Again, my own personal experiences. While people have clocked me as mixed, oftentimes I get treated as black, even though they say, "Oh, you're mixed." I will get the quote unquote black joke, the black jokes, right? They won't say half black, are mixed, are part white, etc., etc. They will say black, right? And I don't really have an issue with that. I ain't really tripping off that, but I'm just saying, because I ain't trying to be claimed by white folks. I ain't trying to have no deal with white people, right? I'm cool and I'm good with my black people, right? I mean, again, it's just, I think for me, it's easier to do that because I don't have the influence of a white parent, but it could be a little more difficult when you are mixed and you have the influence of a white parent, when you have a white parent and a black parent, I didn't really mean for this video to go on for this long. I meant for this video to be about maybe 5 to 7 minutes. My bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, I didn't really intend to go into all that. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. So, to sum up this video, you can identify as you choose. I'm not trying to force you to identify as anything. If you identify as mixed, multiracial, biracial, Creole, Latino, what have you, then that's okay. That's fine. That's all right. You have the right to do that. I will respect your right to do that. I will not try to force blackness on you, etc. Right? And on the flip side, if you are mixed race, multiracial, biracial, etc., and you Creole, Latino, and you do identify as black, then that is great, and that is great as well. As I mentioned before, the only major problem I have is that some of these people, try to play the fence and identify as mixed when it's convenient, and then identify as black when it's convenient, and jump back and forth between those two identities. Notice that they ain't really doing that with white folks that much, right? With a white identity, you're going to have to really be white passing to do some stuff like that. And even still, you got to be one or the other if you white passing, right? So yeah, I don't really, again, that's really the issue I have. You just pick a side, stay on that side, because really, when you really trying to just come in the community and take, and just, benefit from blackness and use blackness only when it's convenient and not really try to do anything positive to help black people, then really, to keep it real, that's a half breed. I don't really use that phrase. I do think that phrase is offensive and a slur, but if you're doing some stuff like that, then I will call it, you're a half breed. if you're doing some stuff like that. And the same with, white folks who want to be evil and be racist and be bigoted. They some cave beasts. They some cave dwellers. Cave folk, cave creatures, what have you, right? Beasts from the cave, right? If you're doing some stuff like that. So, again, summing up, I guess I summed it up already enough. But thanks a lot for watching, y'all. Thanks a lot. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and support are extremely appreciated and extremely valued. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.